You know, back in the old days, there was this program called Layaway, where you can go into like a store and start making payments on something, some high dollar ticket item, and once you paid that off every month, it was yours. You could take it home. That's how I bought my first deer rifle from the Marine Corps PX on Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, and it was the first, weapon that I bought that I purchased myself. It wasn't a hand-me-down, it wasn't my dad's, it wasn't anything like that. So I went and I picked out this 30-06, and I just didn't have a lot of money, and so I did the layaway program, but I needed a scope on it, and the cheaper scopes were all sold out, and so I bumped up to like this entry-level loophole scope and put that on the layaway program and had them all, put the whole package together for me and all that. Made the payments and finally got to bring it home. Ever since then, almost every rifle I've owned has had a loophole scope. In fact, I'm having a custom rifle built this year, and it's going to have the loophole Mark 5 HD scope on it. I just killed a buffalo with that scope. It's a really great product. And loophole guys, you know them. Everybody knows loophole. They've been around since like 1907. They started as like a special instrument company or something like that. But these American-made products are fantastic. Whether you're looking for a spotter, binos, a rifle scope, accessories, tripods, bipods, all that kind of stuff. You can find it all at loophole.com. And I'd really appreciate if you supported this American company that has a great American story. And I couldn't be a bigger fan of a company, and I'm so happy and thrilled that they've chosen to partner with the Western Huntsman. Thanks to Leupold, and thanks to you guys for supporting our great sponsors. All hunters go through a thing when it comes to picking out a gun safe for security, safety, and just a good storage place for all your guns, your rifles, your shotguns, all that kind of stuff. Have you had a look at Securite at securitgunstorage.com? The Agile gun safes are the ones that I really like. I really recommend. This is a modular, scalable gun safe that is way lighter than your traditional safes. So for those of you especially that like move a lot or live in an apartment or something like that, this modular gun safe is super easy to pick up, move to the next location. They have multiple sizes, and when I say modular, like mine has the rifle cabinet and then the cabinet above where I put all my ammo and everything. And this stuff has got the cradle grid technology, what they say is the revolutionary system that forever changed the way U.S. military stores and organizes guns and gear. I really like the fast lock technology when seconds count, fast access in high-stress environments. It's a programmable dark mode, quiet mode, biometric on and off. Basically, to get in and out of that safe as quickly as you need to without losing the security side of it. Again, very light if you're getting it up and downstairs. You live on the top floor of a condo or an apartment complex. A traditional storage gun safe is going to be really heavy to move and can cost you thousands of dollars with the moving company. So if you guys are looking for something modular, adaptable, flexible, a really good, solid gun storage solution, check out securitgunstorage.com. Link is in the show notes. There exists a threat, from anti-hunting groups to politicians trying to give our land away, and we won't stand for it. Those vast western landscapes provide the space for our wildlife to thrive and a place for hunters and anglers to fuel the fire that sparks their soul. In this show, we share our love of hunting, fishing, and conservation. Here, we provide the foundation to meet these threats through passion and the grit of the American outdoorsman. Welcome to the Western Huntsman Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Western Huntsman Podcast. This is Jim Huntsman, your host, coming at you from the Broken Tine Studio in Northwest Montana and brought to you by Eastman's Hunting Journals. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It has, I have found myself coming out of the woods for a little bit and getting to sit down with my good buddy, longtime friend, Dirk Durham, who's been on the show many times. He's the most seasoned Western Huntsman guest, I believe. And I always love having him on the show. So, Dirk, my brother, man, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Now, when you say seasoned, I feel like that's almost like an old guy joke.
It kind of is, but I was just looking at you because when we first started getting together to record these, you did not have that much gray in your beard.
Yeah.
And now it looks like mine, and we both just have just these grayer beards, man.
Yeah.
Because I was looking back like 5 years ago, it was like kind of salt and peppery, right? The beards. Now we just if we grew them out, we'd look like Santa Claus. I'm not happy about it.
When I got back from moose camp, I looked 100% like Santa Claus. I mean, there might have been three dark colored hairs in my beard, but just white as snow.
I think Just for Men should sponsor the podcast so I can get some brown back in the beard.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I don't know if you probably know guys. It's like one time you see them, they got, you know, some salt and pepper in their beard, or it's white. And the next time you see them, you're like, what the hell? Why did you color your beard that color? It kind of looks purple.
Oh man, I might have to start a new trend with that one, man. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I can't. I don't have the care. I don't have the care. I just let it go as gray as it wants to go. I don't give a damn.
So. Remember when I dressed up like Macho Man Randy Savage and elk hunting? Well, I had my wife, she does hair, and she dyed my beard black as
really?
coal. Oh yeah.
Oh,
and it looked so freaking ridiculous. Well, I was heading to Wyoming to go elk hunting, and I pulled over to go eat breakfast at this little joint that I always like to eat breakfast at. And I get in there, and the lady walks up and she's like, "Hey, can I help you?" And then she looks at me, and then you could just see in her eyes, like, what the frick am I looking at? Like, I think she thought I was like a fugitive from justice or something, because she just like she was taken back. She was just like, she wouldn't make eye contact anymore. She's just like, "What did you want?" Like, all right, give me the chicken fried steak, whatever. She's like, leaves, comes back, hands me my food, will not look at me, just like almost throws it at me, and gets the hell out of there. I know she had to have been thinking like, that guy is like running from the law or something, because
you didn't say beard. "Excuse me, ma'am, let me just explain what's going on. I'm going elk hunting dressed as Macho Man, and so I had to color the beard."
No, there was not even an opportunity for that. She was just like in and out. She was weirded out by it, because you could definitely see a line right here. You know, it was like went from white to like black. And anyway, I had a pretty good laugh about that.
That really was, when you and Jason dressed up and did those hunts. That's like one of the top. It's got to be in the top 5 hunting YouTube moments out there.
Oh man,
you know, it was good. It was good. Only you guys could pull that off.
When I was hunting with Trent, man, I don't think I've ever laughed so freaking hard in my life, man. We would, you know, I talked him into dressing up like Nacho Libre, and he'd had a few whiskeys, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll dress up." I'm like, all right, I'm ordering. So I'm ordering it right then and there off of Amazon. I'll dress up. I'm like, all right, this is it. And he's like, yeah, I'll wear that. Well, when we get to elk camp, he's just like, "No, wait, no, I'm not wearing that." I'm like, "Hey, you said I paid $70 for this outfit. This is an expensive costume, you know?"
Yeah.
So he reluctantly put it on, and man,
he did. Yeah.
We laughed so freaking hard.
Yeah, that was a good combo, man. It was just like the right timing and right elements of all those videos. You guys in that dang face painting scene and the dressing up scenes, and it was just those were like the times, you know. I don't know. It was just a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, man. Yeah, I turned speaking of gray in the beard, I turned 45 on Monday. And so I'm not I don't know how I feel about it, man. I'm like, that's halfway to 90 years old.
Yeah, halfway to dead.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure I'm more than halfway to dead at this point.
Yeah. Well, you have to look at it this way. You have to say, "No, I've only lived half my life so far." I'm like, I got the other half to go.
You notice how they're always like, "Oh, you know, middle-aged men," and they're referring to people in their 50s. That's not middle-aged. It's like no. 38 is like middle-aged, 40 maybe.
You've been in the Middle Ages for years now.
Yeah, I'm beyond the middle age, I feel like. Come on, I am currently I had a heart attack 6 months ago, and I'm currently wearing hearing aids. I'm beyond middle age, dude.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Man. Hey, I went to breakfast the other day. I had some tire work done on my truck, and I went to breakfast, and the gal, the gal, when she brought me my ticket, she's like, "Oh, and for people like us," because she was older. She was definitely older than me. She's like, "For people like us, we give you a free coffee and a 10% discount on
Oh
your
my
meal."
gosh.
And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm
Did
a
you
senior citizen."
Did you show her your AARP card?
I didn't even have to flash it. I think, she just seen the white hair, and she's
Yeah,
like, "All right, this old fart, we better give him the discount."
it circles right back to it, man. We need some Just for Men, and they should
Yeah,
sponsor the show.
yeah,
I'll share the sponsorship money.
yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
it's crazy. What's funny about these hearing aids, man, not to get us totally off topic here, but I was more deaf than I thought, dude.
yeah.
I've been missing bugles out in the woods. I've been
Oh, yeah.
missing just it was weird. So guiding seasons here, and I had this husband and wife team a couple weeks ago, and she would ride in the back seat of my truck driving out to where we were hunting and whatnot. And so I could actually, she was soft spoken, but I could actually hear her now. These hearing
Oh,
aids, I could hear people, and I could hear elk walking 100
oh,
yards away from me. I
wow.
haven't heard that in years. I think it's really cost me some notch tags in the past.
Yeah.
I can hear them walking. I can hear them breathing. I can hear them wheezing. I can hear deer jumping. And
Mm.
the bad part is I can hear annoying shit, like
Yeah.
being on a dirt road and something rattling in my door cargo area. Like
Mhm.
I have some wrenches down there, and they're rattling. That drives me crazy because I'm not used to hearing it. And I
Right.
could hear people like chewing on peanuts and stuff in my truck. That drives me crazy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've learned how to like turn them up and turn them down as needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Do you
it's
control it with your phone? Do you have the controls on your
yeah.
phone? Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah, dude. My
nice.
hearing aids are like the AI. All the VA spared no expense
Oh, yeah.
getting me these hearing aids, dude. They're like $6,000, and I didn't pay a penny for them.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And yeah, they're sweet. I could turn them up with my phone. I could program different things on it, and it's like Bluetooth, so it's like
Mhm.
basically having earbuds.
Mhm.
So I could listen to music. I could talk on the phone with them.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. Anyway, I don't mean to have like this. That's like a genuine AARP type conversation we're having here.
Uh, yeah. Conversations change as you get older, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who'd have thought? In my 20s, I'd have never thought I would have gotten excited about like exterior house paint colors and hearing aids.
That's awesome.
So,
Uh,
so how's your season been? Let recap kind of. I want to really dive into this moose hunt, but kind of
yeah.
give me an overall what's been going on season. We haven't like talked in a couple of months.
Yeah, we haven't talked for a long time. So I
Yeah.
kicked off elk season in Idaho. So my good buddy Tyrell Funk, he drew a special tag here in Idaho, and in my mind, it's probably the best tag in Idaho. Um, and as soon as he said that he made a post on Facebook or something, he's like, "Hey, I can't believe I drew this tag," and I immediately called him like, "Hey, can I go? Can I help? Because this place is an incredible place just to go, just to experience and see all the elk and hear them bugle and everything." A buddy of mine, Mark Cochran, had that tag here in 2022, and it was phenomenal. So I'm like, "Dude, I want to go." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." So him and I and our buddy Bradley Dowerman, we all went, and cameraman Dusty, we had him go with us, and we went down for from the opener on the 30th through September 5th,
Mm-hmm.
and got to hunt with him. And man, we've seen all kinds of bulls, and we didn't see some of the true giants like we'd seen in 2022, but some things that were different. Like a lot of that country had been burnt before, and now some of the brush was taller, like really tall. Some of like some of the aspen stuff was tall enough where you wouldn't even be able to see an elk in it. So that was, the elk have some good cover there. But also, when we were there before, and I think it was because it was like the year after the fire, um, it they hadn't grazed it that year. There was no grazing, no cattle grazing, no sheep on it. And this go around, there were cattle and sheep, and I think that made a difference of where the elk were and how visible they were and whatnot. So I think some changes in the habitat made the hunt different for sure. But we did
Yeah,
see
sure.
We did see a lot of elk. We saw tons of bulls. Called in like one day. I stayed on one side of the canyon trying to find a really big one, and those guys went over on the other side. And Bradley called in like 6 bulls in one setting, like in one
Oh,
group.
wow.
A group of 6
Really?
bachelor bulls. Yeah, we seen them up on the ridge, and it's like, man, it'd be pretty easy to get over there and get on those things and call them in. So they got over there, and Bradley called them in, like 6 of these suckers, and they're all, decent 5, 6 point, maybe one 6x7, nothing huge. But Tyrell didn't want to shoot. He's like, I think I can do better, and that was super early in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we kicked around some of the spots I'd hunted before, and just weren't seeing the kind of elk we'd seen before. And then they talked to another hunter, and he's like, yeah, we've been hunting out at such and such, and there's some pretty nice bulls out there. Nothing I really want to shoot. But then so we went out there and sniffed around, and man, we got on bulls right away. And seen one really, really nice bull. One evening, got a really good video of him on the skyline. I just put it on my Instagram yesterday, but
I'm gonna check it out.
yeah,
I got Instagram pulled up right here on the other
Yeah.
screen.
yeah, it's a dandy. And the next day we got on that bull, and he had a ton of cows with him, and we got into, I don't know, pretty close, probably 150 yards, and I started bugling at him, and I just started ripping giant bugles at him, and here he come. I could see him coming, and he wouldn't come any closer than 100 yards just because of the distance, but or not the distance, but the cover. There was just pretty sparse cover there, so he didn't.
Oh, I see him. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I got excited. I found the bull.
Yeah, but he was definitely the best one we saw during that time period.
Oh, yeah, that's a great bull, man.
Yeah, he's a dandy. I don't know how big he was. I would say in the realm of 350, 360 type of bull. He might have been bigger, he might have been smaller. I don't know, but he looks like a 350, 360 bull. And I seen him the next day, up close. That's at a half a mile away on that video.
Yeah,
I filmed him with my all-in digiscope, but the next day I seen him pretty close, 100 yards with binoculars. Like he looks pretty nice. They're massive, but in like up close, like incredible mass. Like, so I think he might have been bigger than I initially thought.
I would stretch just from that distance shot. So I've been using this new app, and you have to be a total nerd about antlers and stuff to even get into this, because it's pretty complicated. But it's called Horn Score, and you could take these pictures and like draw the antlers within it, and it uses this. Anyway, I won't get in. There's an episode about it I did, but I've been geeking out with this thing, and I would venture to guess 360 to 370 on that. That's a great looking bull, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that thing.
Yeah.
I got to pull up the video. Hopefully, I don't think it.
And at 100 yards, the mass, like, I mean, the thing is so long, like the beams are so long. I think it doesn't do the mass justice at that distance, but up close is like, holy shit, man, this thing is massive. Like the each tine was big around as the beams on a normal 5-point bull. It's just
crazy.
It's a giant. So I think he was, I think he's that north of 350, 360.
I think so too, man.
I like that air on the low side, because there's some guys like every 6 point they see, it's a 300-inch bull. That's a 300 bull.
I know. No. Most of them don't break 300, but that's I love just that video and the coloring in the sky, and how you've got him just kind of crested out like I don't know, that's a ridgeline shot, and he turns his head. If you guys listening, you got to jump on. If you're not following the Bugler, you got to be following the Bugler anyway, but it's at the Bugler, and just scroll down. It's like the 4th post on his page right now. Well, by the time this comes out, it might be the 5th or 6th, who knows. But that's an amazing bull. Actually, jump on there, everybody, and throw a comment on. Is that cool, Dirk? If they guess a score on that,
I should have did a guess the score on it, because
let's do a guess the score, and I'll put it. I have enough from that video. I could put it in that horn score app, and I can actually nail it down.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So everybody listening, do a guess. Go to Dirk's page, the Bugler, and guess the score. Oh shoot, what did I just do, man? Hold on, I pushed the wrong button here. Going back. Oh. Okay, anyway, I'm back on it now.
So it's going to be one of the first posts, and it's that big bull ridge-lined with the orange sky behind it. You can do a score guess, and I'll horn score it.
Yeah. And people will probably be like, yeah, that damn Dirk, he don't know how to score. He don't know. You don't know crap about scoring. And like, I always wanted, like, if anybody says that, always want him to say that bull's a lot bigger than what he said. I don't want to be the guy's like, oh, he's pumping up the numbers. Like,
I know, me too, man.
I want to be under. I don't want to be over.
I used to be one of those dudes. I'd look at a bull and I'd be like, oh, that's got to be a 300. And now I've learned a lot in the last couple of years too, where it's like I've become pretty deadly with my guessing on the scores, and a lot of it comes from that horn score app, because it kind of realigns your judgment back into reality.
Yep.
And so when you look at it, like that picture you have of you in Austin there with that bull, back in the day, I'd have been like, oh, that's a 250. And so it's just, it's cool to toy around with that stuff.
Yeah. So after that hunt, I got back and went hunting with Austin, my son. And initially I thought he was going to have all week off, and he only had, he hunted the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they had to go back to work Monday, Tuesday, and he got back on Wednesday night. And so he had a limited amount of time to hunt. So, and then when he got back, we're going to hunt Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. But so I was kind of torn. I didn't know if I was going to buy an archery tag. I was like, I really want him to get an elk. But I thought, well, with that break, with him being gone, for a couple of days, what am I going to do? So if I don't have an archery tag, I'll probably wish I had one. So I got archery tag, and I think I only packed my bow a couple times. Like I packed him the 2 days he was gone, and then maybe one other time. But anyhow, it was pretty slow. It was pretty early. And we did find we found a bull a couple different days, and we got down on him. But man, that thing was just a master of like living where the wind would get you. Like the wind was perfect and good. And then he knew how to make it work. And then
I found one of those this year.
But he sounded like a big bull.
What was the date on that? What was the dates? I'm just curious. I'm trying to get a gauge for how the September went for everybody.
So this was early. This was September, probably 8th.
Okay.
6th, somewhere in there, 6th, and then maybe the 8th or 9th. And then he killed. So he ended up killing on the 11th. So September 11th. So, but
nice.
It was tough, and everybody complains, these days, like people everywhere. It's true, man. We were people everywhere, but I will say for the most part, I mean, you'd see them on the road driving around and park places, but like when you got up beating around in the trees, we only ran into people a couple different times, and Doug Fluty and friends, but we did have Doug Fluty screw us one day on that one bull that was in the spot that was tricky. And we were like super meticulous. It was a second time in on that bull, and he was bugling in the same exact spot. Him and another, he had like a little buddy, like a little toady bull with him or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was on the ridge. The little bull was in the draw. Same story again, second time in there. And we had the wind. We got it really good that time. Well, then we had Doug Fluty come in above us, and that guy walked straight down the ridge that the bull was on, and with the wind at his back, just blowing straight down to the bull. And of course, bull shuts up, and then that guy continues to blow his elk flute, just
yep,
the one.
I had the most epic Doug Fluty. But I cut you off, but yeah, they're just out there, man. The best. Me and my daughter ran into Doug Fluty on steroids this year.
It's not always necessarily how they sound, it's like, yeah, whatever, man, you do you, but damn it, like do elk hunt right, watch the wind, don't do this crap. Like every year, like they act like it's new news or something, like they've never heard of like watching the wind before.
I know. Well, it's not just watching the news, and it's like, you're right. It's not just how he sounded. Like this Doug Fluty I'm talking about, he wasn't a terrible caller. It was the behavioral side and the actual just common sense. No, he paid no attention to the wind. He paid no attention to the dynamics of how elk communicate with each other. Elk just simply don't verbal vomit like that. And I was trying to tell him without telling him, sounding like a human. I kept giving him the 3 elk calls mews in a row, which in my mind is like the universal sound that, hey, I'm another hunter. We're communicating with each other, but I don't want to blow out this drainage. So, just so you know, I'm going meow, meow, meow. It's pretty obvious. That does not alert the elk.
Yeah.
But elk don't actually do that. And then I played like some goofy tune, like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars with the bugle tube, like the first line. And he still kept bugling at me, man. And I'm like, what in the world is this guy doing? And the thing is I had just spotted a bull in there. There was a bull and 2 cows just kind of meandering around, and they'd walked over this ridge. I couldn't call because my daughter and I were pretty exposed. And so I just sat there and waited for them to go over the ridge, and I wanted to start calling them in. And old Doug Fluty comes down and does all that song and dance, and I'm sure he blew out that mountain for 3 days straight.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, yeah, I'm pretty fired up about. I think I posted about it on Facebook. Like, hey, listen, if you hear 3 mews in a row, everybody should just like universally accept something like that to alert the other hunter that they're talking to a hunter, not. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, well, even like a turkey call, right? I mean, if the call, like the elk that you thought was an elk starts turkey calling at you, like, oh yeah, that's a guy over there. I had like, well, that guy was just explaining. Well, I started turkey calling to him to like, man, get out of there, like, and to like let him know we're working this bull, and he just didn't skip a beat. Just
that's crazy.
And in that special draw tag spot, we were worked up really tight on a big bull one morning. That same big bull that I was just talking about, you have the video of, and we were up tight on that thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. And then we had guys come in from the wind with the wind at their back, and I'm turkey calling at them like, hey, trying to let them know we're hunters up here. Stop coming the way you're coming. Like, of course it's public land. You can do whatever you want, but at least don't blow the elk out with the wind. I mean, we all get kind of caught with our pants down, getting seen, or maybe we make the wrong move at the wrong time as far as setups and stuff. But dang it, like there should, like when it's blatant, the wind is blowing this way and you just walk with your back to it. That's inexcusable. It's unforgivable.
Yeah, it really is.
But
there's a few. I'd love to get your take on this. There's a few sins that are kind of unforgivable in hunting. And we're talking about like from an etiquette / ethical side. And like, I think for one is when you are blatantly, we've all educated elk to a level, certain extent, right? We've all made a mistake where we've educated an elk, or maybe let them know that, oh, wow, that dude over there can sound like my cousin Ernie, the elk, and that's not good. I need to be, cognizant of that. And these older bulls, they kind of, I think they catch on to that to an extent.
Oh yeah.
But the blatant stuff, like what you're talking about there, where you go in and you are just throwing caution to the wind, there's another hunter down there, you're stepping on their toes, you're blowing out a whole drainage with your Doug Fluty calls, not paying attention to wind, sitting there not turning your four-wheeler off and bugling from your four-wheeler, from the seat of your four-wheeler, as if in any real-world situation that's going to work. Stuff like that. That's one of the sins, the over-education of elk. That is what makes elk like super call shy and sends them into these deep, dark holes where they're just a lot harder to find, which is fine. This is hunting from a standpoint of we don't want it easy, but we also don't want to educate the elk, right?
Right.
And sin number 2 is taking a bad shot, knowing you hit that animal, and then not even bothering to look. That one has happened a couple of times this year. In fact, I have a 6x5 bull elk sitting in my front yard that I'm about to take the hide off the skull. That I happen to know the whole story behind this, so but I'm fired up about it. If you take a shot and you wound an animal, it is your ethical responsibility to make every effort you can possibly make beyond the limitations you think you have to locate that animal. We owe it to that animal to make sure they're not suffering and make sure that it is not this big waste of 300 pounds of elk meat, for example.
Oh yeah.
That is sin number 2. Now I'm drawing a blank on what is sin number 3? I had one.
Is it intruding on other people's hunt? You know, like
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, like
Purposely.
Yeah, if somebody's in a spot like already, like I get it if there's a trailhead and there's 72 pickups parked and it unlocks 100 miles or whatever, you know, miles and miles of country.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one thing. I mean, but when it's a smaller zone and you blatantly just see somebody hunting there and you just walk in and like, I'm gonna hunt there too, or go in on if they're bugling a bull, you walk in on them, like that's unforgivable in my
Especially
opinion.
if they hear you calling that bull and then they start chiming in and calling too.
Yeah,
It screws it up.
And to be fair, I think that, you know, some people maybe they're just inexperienced. They don't know that you're not an elk. You know, they're just like, oh man, that's an elk over there. If you sound pretty good, I mean, even if you sound pretty bad, if you're new at it, you haven't been around elk, you might just think, oh, that's another elk. But when you see pickups and like other people parked, and it's like, I would be a little bit leery to like trust every bugle I heard to be an elk. Like I would be a little bit leery. And honestly, I don't know, like from their perspective, those people's perspective, but my perspective, like I'm trying to go to the woods. I don't want to hunt around other people. If somebody's there, I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't want to run into them in the woods. I don't want to mess up their hunt. I don't want them to mess up my hunt. I don't want to see people. I'm there to hunt. I'm there to get away from people. But, and one thing I'm starting to think about more lately is with such an influx of new people moving to, you know, these Western states, you know, whether they're moving from California, Washington, whatever, they're moving from metropolitan areas.
Yeah.
I would venture to say. I think they're so used to being around people that when they see a pickup parked somewhere, they're like, oh, there's hardly anybody here. Like they feel like they're alone. Like even if there's like a vehicle or two around, they're like, oh, this is not a lot of people. Because if, let's say, they're used to going to Yosemite Park and there's hundreds of vehicles parked everywhere, you know, so it could be that perspective.
That's an interesting take, actually. I think there's something to that.
Yeah, and also I think let's be honest, like after talking with people over the years, especially people who are new at hunting and being alone in the woods, maybe they feel a little more comfortable hunting around where there's other people, knowing that, man, if I get in trouble, if I get hurt or lost or something, there's other people around. Like maybe that's their safety net. Maybe they look at it that way, you know, because I try to, sometimes as annoyed with people as I get, I try to look at both sides of the coin, you know, like I probably make people mad too. So I try to like look at other people's perspectives and be like, well, let's give them a chance. Or maybe they think, you know, maybe if I'm hunting around other people, I'm safer and I'm not that experienced. And maybe if I get in trouble, there'll be someone here to help me. Or back to the point, like, this is not a lot of people. I'm not going to be intruding, and there's no possible way I'll ever run into this guy in the woods because he's parked here. Maybe they have that mindset too. But I do think there is some of those guys that has that attitude, like, it's public land, I'll go over there if I want.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can, but like, why do you want to go hunt around with other people? Like, you're going to foul up their hunt, or they're going to, like, what makes you think the other guy's a good hunter? I mean, maybe he's going to foul your hunt up. Like, why
exactly
put yourself into that position?
That's a good perspective too. Like, you think that, I don't know. I remember one time I kind of had that thought. I saw this truck and he had like, on the back of his truck, he had like all these stickers. He was parked in the spot I wanted to hunt one day. Yeah. And I'm not an asshole. So when I saw his truck parked there, I just moved on to plan B or plan C or whatever, you know, no big deal. He got there, early bird gets the worm. He beat me to that spot. Mm-hmm. But when I drove by, I saw his truck and he's got like, you know, Matthews Archery and Loophole and like Born and Raised and all these hunting stickers.
All the stickers.
Like, yeah, and I'm like, man, that guy must know what he's doing. And so that's good. If he was hunting there, and you know, he must know something that I don't know, or we were thinking alike because I wanted to hunt there. Whatever. A couple days go by, I go hunt somewhere else, and I was hunting up this drainage where you kind of real close to where you and I went bear hunting.
Yeah.
If you remember that upper, ridge where
Yep.
we walked into where that barrel was,
Yep.
it's a great spot, man. Anyway, I'm up there, and all of a sudden I start getting Doug Flutied, and this guy knew I was in there because there's only one spot to park to get into that whole drainage system, that whole ridge system, and so I start getting Doug Fluted like crazy. This guy, he's not paying attention to wind. I could hear him like he tripped or something, and I can hear him, and he's cussing. Oh, son of a! Like he hit his shin or something. And
That's hilarious.
and
It's
so
probably me. No,
no, it wasn't you. I know your truck. And he's like just making all this ruckus and making these terrible calls, and like it was, I bet you he scared every elk for 10 straight square miles out of there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm gonna sneak around this little hill and head back to my truck. So I get back to my truck. He's parked right next to me, and it's that truck with all those stickers.
Yeah.
And so I thought he knew something about hunting, was up there just destroying that whole ridge system, scaring every wildlife animal out of there for miles, And so you make a really good point, but that kind of stuff, I guess that's the message. Don't be an asshole. Like, just if you want to go hunt, just don't walk over everybody else's hunt. You're screwing yourself when you do that too, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway,
me and Dusty were sitting in the pickup in the dark one morning. It was just him and I this fall, and we're drinking our coffee. It's not even close to being first light. We're sitting there drinking our coffee, just kind of shooting the breeze, waiting for, get our coffee in us before we hike up the hill. And it's not a big, this area we're gonna go to. It's like one of those little overlook spots. It's right on a main road. We're just parked in this random spot. We're sitting there. This dude in the Subaru pulls up, goes right around us, parks 50 yards in front of me, jumps out and runs up the hill. Like they have to beat us up the hill. It's like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? Well, we'd hunted there the night before, and I wonder if he was somewhere where he could hear me bugling up in there, because we didn't have any bugling at all other than me. And I don't know if he'd heard from the night before, like me bugling up in there, and thought there was a elk in there, or maybe just I don't know. Sometimes I just have to I shake my head. I'm like, what goes through these people's brain to make them want to do that? Like, if on a random place on the side of the road, like, why would you just park by somebody and just try to?
Especially when there's miles of dirt road without anybody parked, with drainages and access and ridge systems, and I mean, it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
I think there's something to what you were saying, Dirk. Like some people that, they're not used to living somewhere like, you remember your place in Orofino where you the cabin, you had this acreage, you're out, you can't see your neighbors really. And that's like how you and I, what we're used to. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went to San Diego for my brother-in-law's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And the mentality is so different, man. Like, we stayed in this Airbnb where people are like, I could reach out one of the windows and smack the house next door.
Oh, wow.
And like, I could be in our Airbnb, and I could hear the conversation of the neighbors in their house talking. I could hear their voices.
Uh-huh.
And it was like uncomfortable to me. It was way too many people, way too close in proximity. I'm not used to that kind of stuff. And like, we'd go to the beach or whatever, and find a spot to sit, and people would just like come up and sit right next to us. And like, that is weird to me.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that there is something about that. And I think that that's why, like, again, going back to that time you and I were bear hunting up on that river, excuse me, they're okay with coming and camping right next to you now. That didn't happen 20 years ago.
No.
And it's just a different mentality, and maybe you and I having this conversation might help them understand that the point of like camping and hunting and getting out there into the wilderness and being in the wild is to be away from people. That's one of the main things I love about it. I love being away and on our own and just, when it comes to hunting, me versus the wild, me versus an elk, and not in an adversarial way. I don't look at it like it always kind of gets under my skin when people are like, I'm gonna go find that son of a bitch, and I'm gonna me and that I'm gonna that mother effer and the elk. No, man, I love these animals. I respect them. I'm sad when they go down. I am not. They are not my enemy. They are just a part of this natural system and this thing that we do. And so, I'm always very cautious about that. But I've had hunting clients that are like that. They're like, let's go get that mother effer. Like, no, we're not going to go get that mother effer. We're going to go hunt that animal and we're going to try to make it happen. And we're going to get that animal down. He's not a mother effer though.
No.
But, and so anyway,
I'd like to welcome Mystery Ranch as a sponsor to the Western Huntsman. This is a great product. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Mysterium line. Those packs include the Sawtooth 45, the Sawtooth 65, the Beartooth 85, and the Marshall 105, depending on, what you're doing with the pack. If you from day pack to backcountry, plenty of space. I like what they wrote on the website. Between the disciplines of calculated preparation and in-the-moment focus, an intangible alchemy exists. We call it Mysterium. It is our most ambitious, tech-rich line of Mystery Ranch hunting packs constructed for the most methodical hunters. I'd agree with that. It's a great pack, guys. I really like the ventilation system. When you put it on, it's nice and tight, but you're still breathing a little bit less of that buildup between the pack and your back when you're sweating and out there packing through the mountains and whatnot. It's a super functional pack, very comfortable. Very good at carrying loads. I've been using it all spring between bear and just like I do a lot of rucking to keep in shape, and it has done a phenomenal job. I've got a lot of top-of-the-line packs out there, and I've always kind of geeked out with packs, but I really do like the weight distribution and the way that it allows you multiple options as to where you're going to either carry a water bladder or one of those Contigo containers or whatever you're going to use. Really impressed. I love the ease of how everything functions on it too. You don't need to watch a bunch of videos to figure out how to undo everything to pack a bunch of meat out. That's really important for a guy like me, I promise. I'm not super smart. So the simplicity, the comfort, the load distribution, it all makes for a wonderful backcountry hunting pack. If you are in the market, check it out at mysteryranch.com/mysterium.
I'll get back on topic. So anyhow, fast forward to the day Austin killed, September 11th. I plotted out this spot. I'm like, man, because we've been running into a lot of people. I'm like, I know this one place. There's hardly anybody there, but there's a reason. The elk numbers are terrible there. So, but let's go hike into this spot. So we start hiking on this trail, and this trail had been hit with a forest fire years ago, a decade and a half ago. And the trail's grown up. It's not been maintained. It's grown up. There's windfalls. It's brushed in. It's like steep, miserable. So we hike for like an hour on this trail. And I can tell we're a long ways from where we want to be. And it's like, man, it's going to take a long time to get there. And then I don't know if I want to pack an elk out of this place, because it's awful. You instead of walking a straight line up a ridge and kind of ducking a little brush, man, we're zigzagging back and forth across this ridge just to dodge all the windfalls and brush patches, just to try to make it. So, we're going to walk 3-4 times the distance. I'm like, I don't know if I want to pack an elk out of this place, if we even find it. There's no elk sign. And I'm like, all right, let's go somewhere else. So we get out, hike back out, get to the truck. And so I'm like, all right, I know a spot. So we go out and we bugle at 2 or 3 different spots, and bam, bull answers. I'm like, holy cow, he's right there. Like, he's not very far away. So Austin and Dusty, I send them up ahead, and I start calling him. This bull, he won't answer if I give him a wimpy bugle. If I'm not being super aggressive, and I found this a lot this year for whatever reason, like bulls would answer a specific tone, cadence, length.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't answer some of the other stuff, because and they would answer and they would sound kind of timid or not super aggressive. And I'm like, so I don't want to overdo my aggressive until they get aggressive. So I would kind of even back my call off, and I would back my call off to be kind of wimpy, and they wouldn't answer. They wouldn't answer. But if I went back to the very first bugle that they answered to, bam, they would answer again. So
Oh, wow.
I had to like really pay attention to this. So once I figured that out, then I started calling, and Austin moved up, and then finally I moved up, and the bull, he kind of sounded, the last time I heard him was like, man, he's left. He sounded like he went on top of the ridge and went on the backside. And I'm standing there looking around like, man, we're gonna have to push up on him pretty hard here. And I kind of, something catches my eye, and I look up, and here comes the bull walking right to me. And I'm like, dang it, I can't believe he hadn't seen me, because I was kind of standing around looking, because I'm not up by close to where they were, the elk was, I'm kind of standing there looking around like moving. I'm not even hidden, and this bull just walking right to me. I'm like, oh God, I can't believe he hasn't seen me. He walks over to the tree, starts raking it.
Oh, wow.
So when he starts raking, I just kind of melt into the ground, and I at that point I quit calling, and all I can think of is like, here I am. This is typical, like when Austin hunts with me. I'll leave my bow at the truck. I won't take my bow because I want him to get one, and somehow the elk will make it around him and come to me. I'm like, dang it, I should have brought my freaking bow. Here we are again. Once again, I should know better than this, you dummy. Like, this thing's gonna walk up to me 10 yards away. He's just on a beeline right to me, and he stops raking and then starts walking right down the hill to me. And all of a sudden, I hear meh, like this weird voice, meh. And the bull stops, whack, and he shoots him.
Nice.
The thing runs up the hill 20 yards into the brush. I can't see him, and then stops, and I can hear a bunch of thrashing around, and then I can hear some death moans, and I'm like, oh, he killed him, like that. And then it goes
Nice.
quiet. So we just kind of hang out for 20 minutes there without making a sound. And everything goes quiet. So I start working my way up, slipping up. Finally, I can see an antler tip laying there. I'm like, okay, and nothing. He ain't moving, ain't breathing, nothing. So I'm like, okay. So then I give Austin and Dusty the motion. They come over, and anyway, it was pretty awesome. It was pretty.
Was that Austin that did that meh noise?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He said he said he had cottonmouth really bad, and he got his diaphragm ready to go to stop him with the cow call, and he tried to make a noise, and it wouldn't make a noise. So he just went, spit it out, and went meh. He said, I remember you saying just make some kind of a freaking noise just to get him to stop. So he's like, he went meh, and the thing kind of stops and whack, and he hits it.
How cool is that, though?
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then
so that's for him. That's two bulls in 2 consecutive years, right?
Oh yeah, a little jerk. He like the first year he killed it on the second day of season, and then this year I think it was like the third full day that he hunted. So it's like,
that's so cool.
Man, he's getting spoiled.
Well, when Pops is the bugler, and you get to go hunting with him.
Right. But then whenever I get to hunt for myself, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to even hunt for myself, man. I got to go to Wyoming on that mule deer hunt, and that's about it. That's most of it. It's taking my daughter out. Called it a good bull for my daughter. When I say good bull, I mean he, a decent raghorn. And my daughter's only like 4'11", and she's kind of she's behind this like huckleberry brush, and the bull comes walking out, perfect broadside, maybe 20 yards or so.
Mm-hmm.
And when she draws back, she's below the huckleberry bush and can't get high enough to get that arrow over the top. So that was a major bummer. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, lesson learned. We don't want to be behind the huckleberry brush, that tall, that taller huck brush.
Oh,
and and all that kind of stuff. So we learned a valuable lesson there. So anyway, yeah. And so at what point did you head to the Yukon?
So I think I left on the 13th. I drove
September 13th.
September 13th. Yeah. So the best part of September got sacrificed to the moose. So Jason Phelps and I both had moose tags. So I drove to his house in PL, Washington on the 13th. And then the next day we started driving. And I think it was like a 28, 29 hour drive from his place to the Yukon up to where to the Outfitters Lodge. So,
and can I ask you something about that? Did you drive because you wanted to be able to bring all that meat back without paying $200 a box every 50 pounds or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, a lot of people, and everybody's got their own thing, but a lot of folks who have to fly up to places like that, they're not able to bring as much meat back as maybe they would like to, but I'm like, man, I don't feel right if personally for me, like I want to eat that. I want to eat that moose. I'm like, I'm probably never going to get to shoot another moose. It's expensive. And man, I want that meat, I want my family to have it. So we're like, and that's why we picked the biggest reason why we picked the outfitter we went with is because we could drive to it and take coolers and bring our meat home instead of having to fly the whole way. And then, that's incredibly expensive.
Plus you got to probably see some insane country driving up there.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'll bet that was cool. I would have gone with you just for the drive and that adventure of seeing all of Canada like that and all that. I don't know. It just would have been cool.
Yeah. The road trip was great. It was great. Jason drove, made him drive.
That makes it nice.
Yeah, he's a champion, man. He drove really well, and he's got a nice truck, so he was comfortable and we didn't worry about breaking down and stuff. So, but we got up there to what the heck is that place called? Watson Lake, Yukon, and we got on a plane there at the lake, the pontoon plane, and then flew into a backcountry lake. Flew 100 some miles north into the Yukon there, and got dropped off. And we were hunting with a guide. You have to have a guide, so you can't do a DIY there. So we get there and drop us off at this lake, and they call it Tamarack Lake, right? And for good reason. Like, I'd say 90% of the trees around this lake and this whole area, this whole river drainage they're all tamarack. So it's just golden. It's just beautiful and amazing place. And we get there and the weather is wonderful. Like, it's so nice. It's like 60 degrees, like, that's not good moose hunting weather though. It's way too nice. It's warm, and it's nice out, or you can't hunt for, till the next day after flying. So we get our camp chores done, and then we're just kind of laying around out there, and, I'm laying on the ground, enjoying soaking in the sun. It's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Who knew I was going to come up here and sunbathe, of course they had clothes on, but anyway.
Yeah, right.
we didn't get pictures of that. Well, I hope not. So then we had this little boat to hunt out of, a little 14-foot Lund boat with a 5 horsepower motor. And so the idea was to call on one side of the lake, call on the other side of the lake. The lake kind of ran north and south, and it was, probably a couple miles in between the one side to the other. And then on the south side, there was an outlet of streams, and the little stream went for a little ways, and then it kind of intersected these two rivers. So we would do the calling by the lake, pick the low hanging fruit first. And if we didn't hear nothing, then we would go over there to the streams. And then so the streams are shallow enough, we'd have to get out every time there was a riffle, get out of the boat. And then the guide would drag the boat. He had on hip waders, and he had on chest waders. He'd get out of the boat and drag the boat through the riffles to the next spot that he could fire up the motor again and go.
Wow.
So we might have to walk a quarter mile or a half a mile at a time between each riffle, or between each, deep spot. So
sure,
it's kind of an adventure, and walking along, it's all brushy and stuff. And like, there's grizzly bears, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Big ones.
Yeah. I wasn't too worried about it. Phelps, he was like, yeah, grizzly bears. I'm like, yeah, that'll probably be fine. We saw a little bit of grizzly sign, not too much. Those bears weren't really in there. I think they were somewhere else. I think they were higher. They weren't down low where we were at. But anyway, so it was cool. So every day, like we would, it was like Groundhog Day. You do the same thing. You go to one end of the lake first thing in the morning, call, go to the other end of the lake, call, and then get on the river and then do that. And then we had different spots along the rivers there that we would get out and call, and I think on the fourth day, Phelps shot his bull and called it in, and watching. So I had like an idea, like, because we've all watched Jim Shockey and people call moose on the Outdoor Channel or on TV or on YouTube. And I don't think you get to see the whole process, or maybe everybody does it a little bit different, but our guide, he had kind of a process. He would start out doing cow balls. He would cow ball for like, I don't know, a minute or two straight, just, making these cow balls. And then he would wait 20 minutes and he would do it again. And he would do like 4 sessions of that. And then after 4 sessions of that, so it takes, I don't know, 40 minutes, 45 minutes or an hour. And then he would start doing bull grunts. Right. And he said, and I didn't realize this. So the cows, when they're bawling like that, that means they have a subordinate bull with them. They have a bull that's like a young bull that they don't want to mate with. And they're
really?
calling, saying like, hey, is there any mature bulls around here? Come on, get rid of this guy. I need the right boyfriend. This guy is the wrong one. I didn't know that. That's what that's all about.
That's what my wife does all the time, huh? That's
what she's always crying.
Somebody else around.
Right. So, and then he would, so he'd do some bull calls, and the whole time he's not standing in one place, right? He'll stand here and start bawling, and then he'll walk over, he'll walk 50 yards that way, 50 yards that way, as he's bawling, like he's creating a scene. He's painting a scene, right?
Yeah.
And then he starts doing the bull grunts. He has a boat paddle, and he'll go over and he'll beat the shit out of a tree for a while with it, and then he'll grunt, and he'll grunt and he'll walk, with every other step he'll go, oh. He'll take a couple steps, oh. And just, the movement, it's all like moosey, right? It's the way he moves, the way he calls, all of it's like what moose do. But it's just like elk hunting. We all have our little elk hunting rituals we do. And in our mind, it's like, okay, we're doing it right. But damn it, sometimes you don't hear a bull elk bugle for a long, long time. And it's the same thing with moose. I mean, you can get that out and it'll broadcast. Moose will hear you from a mile or two away, I guess. Cause they got those big old ears, but also their paddles work is like, it helps them hear better too.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
But sometimes it may take you a while for a bull to ever get to you. So you'll sit there for an hour or so listening for another bull to grunt off in the distance, but you may walk away and 3 hours later, he might be standing right there where you left, right? Or the next day, right? So you keep going back to these same little calling stations or whatever, calling spots, because just because you called there that day and didn't hear nothing doesn't mean tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon there might be one there. So that's kind of what happened with Phelps Bowl. We'd been calling there for 3 days straight, and on the 4th morning, bam, we hear this bull grunt, and here he comes, and he ended up shooting him, and we're able to get the boat like 100 yards or so from where the moose died. So
nice.
We broke the moose down and was able to pack it like 100 yards to the boat. So that was
sweet.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's way awesome. Are you guys bow hunting or rifle hunting?
Rifle.
Yeah.
Jason took his bow and is like, I don't know, I kind of like to shoot one with a bow. And the guide kind of talked him out of it. He's like, well, you can. I'm not saying you can't, but he's like, it's really, really, really brushy country.
That's what I was thinking is, man, I don't know if it'd be super optimal for a bow.
He's like, we'll get close enough for a bow shot. He's like, but it may not be a clear shot. There's just so much brush. And he's like, okay, well, I'm not hung up on shooting with a bow. So we just brought one rifle. We brought my rifle and shared it. So Jason got to be the first shooter. I'm like, why don't you be first shooter? That way I can be super picky. He's like, oh, that's fine. He's like, I don't care. So anyway, he shoots his bull and it dies. And I'm used to horsing around elk quarters. I can grab an elk quarter and horse around a hind quarter. It's like, it's heavy, but you just horse that thing around a little bit. Yeah. Man, there is no horsing around a moose quarter. I mean, them things are heavy. We didn't weigh them. But
I was gonna ask you, like, how much do you think it weighs?
at
It-
least 130, 120, 130 pounds for a hip socketed hindquarter. I'd say at least.
So did you have to like debone it to pack it?
So the guide's like, well, since we're so close, he's like, we won't debone it. He's like, because you got that leg bone, you can throw that thing over your shoulder and just kind of carry it. He's like, I wouldn't even get our packs dirty since we're in bear country. He's like, we don't want to get our packs bloody, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he's like, we'll keep our packs clean. We'll just throw them things over our shoulders and just carry them to the boat, which we did have some, like the rib meat. We chopped the ribs up. Those were kind of difficult to carry in a big bag. Back straps, neck meat, all that, all the trim, that
Sure.
stuff was, you kind of had to carry it like this, a 100-pound bag of meat that's floppy and loose. And that sucked to carry. But thank God Phelps was there, because I'm just going to say he's a strong son of a bitch. He's a man. And I feel like back to that, like getting old, like, man, I think I'm losing some of my old man strength or my superhuman strength. I used to be pretty strong, really strong. And after I got my shoulder surgery, I don't think I ever got all that strength back. And then now I think I've lost some more of it, man. So I think, man, I didn't really need to get into the gym more and
Yeah, man.
really get some strength back, because I'm like, I was pretty humbled by those quarters. I'm like, I can lift that. Like, yeah, I wasn't horsing them things around very good, but so two of us would lift it and put it on Jason's shoulder, and then he would pack it to the boat.
Wow.
Which I'm like, I can do it, but man, that might hurt me. So I just carried the loose bags of meat, but those things were about 100 pounds, 70 to 100 pounds. They weren't easy to carry either. That about got me too. But then a couple days later, I think, day 7, we were going down the river and we seen a bull laying along the river, sleeping. Come around a corner and Phelps is like, there's a bull. And I'm looking and I'm like, I don't see it. I'm looking right at it. Well, you can see its paddles above the grass,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh yeah, there he is. Duh. I was still stuck on elk mode, right? I'm still looking for elk. my brain hadn't switched over to moose mode yet, I guess. I don't know. He picked it out really quick. And I was like, oh, that's a good one. So we pull over, and I could have shot it right from the boat, which is
Sure.
legal. But I'm like, no, I want to do this right. I want to get off. I want to try to call this thing in. I want to do this right. We're filming this. This is, let's do this fun. Let's do it right. I don't want to just shoot it from the boat. So things still laying there. So we get up and I got ready, and the guide's like, hey, let's move up a little closer. So we start moving up, and we're getting, going to get straight across the river from this thing, because we were probably 150 yards down the river from him. So we get straight across from him almost. And then all of a sudden that bull jumps up and runs.
Oh.
He smelled us.
Oh, gotcha.
Because if they see you, they're not really too scared of you. They're like, he's like, there's two things that'll make them run. He's like, if they smell you or if you talk. If they hear you talking, moose don't like that typically.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, don't talk. He's like, if we talk, we'll whisper in each other's ear very closely, very quietly. But as far as like moving, so he had the boat paddle and he's kind of walking in front of me, rocking back and forth, going, grunting. And that works fine. They don't really scare him. So anyway, we get up there, he jumps up and runs off, but I could have shot him right in the butt, or maybe he's kind of quartered away. I could have hit him in the hump or the side of the neck. But back to the point, like, I respect these things too much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to take a shitty shot and shoot this elk or this moose right in the ass. I want moose meat. I don't want to ruin it. And he was a really big moose, quite a bit bigger than the one I got. But to the fact that I don't want to do it wrong. Here we are. We're trying to, do things right, trying to set an example. We're gonna do things right. So I didn't shoot. And also, if you draw blood, that's your moose. Like, whether you find it or not, that's your moose. So
yep, we have the same policy at our outfitter, man. If you draw blood on an animal, whether we find it or not, that's a notch tag.
Yep. So doing everything right, that moose got away. but we noticed where he was at, where he'd been living. And then we got back in the boat and went like 200 yards down the river. And there's another moose. There's another bull moose, a little one. And then the moose were out that day. It's just a crappy weather. So good moose weather days are days that's so freaking miserable that you can barely stand being out in the weather. Like cold, wet, damp, nasty, frost everywhere, like snow, whatever. It was just like those days. It's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to tough it out. Like it's that cold out. Those are the kind of days we saw moose. Those bluebird days, we didn't see anything. We saw birds. We saw little birds flying around. But so then fast forward, we kept on. So we would stop and walk up into where he ran, and we'd walk up there. I don't know. I think we walked up in there 4 different times, but we'd get up in there. Most of the time, the wind would be really bad. So as soon as we get up, we just walk out. We just like get out of there really quick. Like the wind has to be just right. So I think the 4th time we stopped there, we got up in there and the wind was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. But I think there was enough to where it's like, all right, I think we're safe. So the guide started doing his thing, started his whole scenario, and he called, I don't know, for a little while. He got through his cow calls. That probably lasted 15 minutes. And then he started doing bull calls. As soon as he started doing bull calls, he went way over here, 50 yards to the right and made a rub. He went 50 yards to the left and made a rub. And as he's coming back grunting, then I couldn't hear it, but those guys heard him grunt. I think I'm getting deaf, but
you need some of my hearing aids, man.
I need some of your hearing aids. Phelps and then was like, oh yeah, I heard him. Well, about the time they said that, I heard the ground rumbling, like it sounded like horses galloping or something. And I'm like looking around, like that sounded like, I thought I heard horses galloping or something. And then Phelps is like, I heard him run or whatever. And he's like, there he is. He's a shooter. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, I don't see this moose anywhere. And I'm looking in the wrong spot. Finally, I look over here. It's like, oh, there he is. And there's a big patch of brush, and the brush is so tall, he can't quite see over it, but you can see his rack and you can see his nose, and he's putting his nose up, he's trying to smell us. And finally I see him. And at this point I hadn't even chambered around yet, because I'm trying to be safe. I don't want to have an accidental shooting. So I'm trying to be safe. And I'm like, the guy's like, you might want to chamber around. I was like, yeah. Okay. So he started making a big long moose bellow. I'm like, kind of a big moan. And as I'm like slowly, quietly chambering around, and I could have shot him through the brush. I could have just aimed right where his head and neck was and got him. But there again, we're trying to make a movie here. We're trying to do things right. Why take all these risky shots? There's too many people taking risky shots. So it's like, no way, we need to let him clear the brush. So finally he comes out of the brush and I let him have it. Shot him twice. Probably could only shot him once and it'd been fine, but I put a second one in him just for good measure. And
did he come out kind of frontal to you, or was
no, broadside? He came out broadside.
Oh,
yeah,
nice, man.
Broadside. Yeah. Jason's bull came in kind of quartering towards him, quartering hard frontal. And he put it right, right in his chest.
Yeah.
And he soaked it up pretty good, and
it's amazing how much both elk, the 3 animals, elk, moose, and bear, how much lead they can eat before they go down. It's amazing sometimes, but yeah. So he came out broadside, you let one go, and then you just you hit him a second time. What was he running the second time, or?
He kind of started spinning around, and then he kind of hesitated, and I let him have it again. He was probably, I don't know, 80, 90 yards away.
Wow.
And then he kind of went down for the count. And man, when he got over there, it's like, at first they thought it was that same bull we saw. And then we got looking a little closer. It's like, no, that ain't the same bull at all. It's a different one. He was kind of a pretty narrow. It's a real narrow rack. It's only 45 inches wide.
Really?
But
well, I'm looking at it on your Instagram. That's only 45.
Yeah. So, but he's got those insane brow tines. It's really kind of hard to see unless you're in person, but those brow tines are as long as my arm, they're crazy. They got these big shovels, almost like a caribou. And then they kind of come out and they got three points or something in each one of them. And then these big old scoops, big old bowls in them.
Oh man, yeah, those fronts. I see what you're saying. The one where you're holding it looks like kind of in your driveway or whatever,
Yeah.
where he's Euroed out.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could really see those fronts pretty good right there.
Yeah.
He looks way wider than 45, but I
Yeah.
guess pictures can be deceiving, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Phelps's was 52 or something like that. But
It's amazing, man. We just don't get moose like that down here in the lower 48. Yeah, I mean, that's just. I mean, I haven't even seen a moose this hunting season, which is pretty rare.
really,
Usually they kind of annoy me during. You know how moose, the bulls are real curious and they're rutting in September. They're usually kind of annoying to me. They'll come into the calls and they'll want to see what's going on. They stick their nose where it doesn't belong, and get you all excited because all you see the tips of those tines coming through, and then you see the paddle, and it's like, oh, it's not an elk.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, I had none of those this year, and so which was pretty odd. Cool, man. I'm just looking at your pictures on the Instagram here.
Yeah. And he had a couple tines, there's like, so you got the brow tines, and then it kind of goes up to the paddles. And he had the one side had a tine that's just huge, just, I don't know how long it was, probably 20 inches long and bigger as a soup can, and incredibly massive. But I guess the area is not really known for like 60-inch bulls, like everybody wants to shoot a 60-inch bull, right? Or
sure.
If you're like Adam Grinda, you're like wanting a 70-incher, right?
I know, right?
Sucker. Those things are, but that's like shooting like, the 450-inch bull elk, it's like the equivalent, shooting one of those bulls like he's shooting up there.
Have you seen like when he's standing, Adam Grinda, when he's standing behind that bull, like Adam has sat across this table in this studio. He is a freaking big dude.
Oh, he's huge. Yeah.
And those bulls make him look like just a little fella.
Yeah.
And if you've seen him in person and then you see those pictures, it's like, holy cow, man, those are some freaking big moose.
Yeah. He's a large American.
Yes, he is a large American.
And his wife is a small American. She's small. She's a small gal, but she's tough as nails, man. She packs him weight.
Yeah.
But anyway, then, so that area is not known for 60-inch bulls because it's tight. Like it's heavily wooded, heavily timbered. The only openings, they're not a lot of openings except right along the river there.
Do you think
grassy openings and meadows and stuff?
Do you think that terrain that they're living in, that country they're living in, because it is tight like that, like a 5-year-old bull moose would be narrower than a bull moose in like country that's not so tight? Is that what you're saying?
That's what the guide was saying. He's like,
really?
He's like, if you guys wanted wider bulls, you'd want to go into an area that's more you wouldn't hunt the river bottoms. You'd hunt, the big wide open tops and that kind of that brush country that doesn't have a lot of timber or trees on it. It's more of that brush country. He's like, that the bulls grow wider there. He's like, just think of a 60-inch bull trying to run through those woods. And he's like, it'd be tough. He's like, you think, I don't know if it's natural selection or just in the DNA of the ones that live and the ones that get snapped up. You got wolves, you got grizzly bears catching them. It's like if you got a 60-inch rack and you're trying to escape a predator in that thick stuff, then you might get got a lot easier, than something with a narrower rack. So that was his opinion on that. On that.
I think that makes total sense, man. I think when I was in Wyoming hunting mule deer, the mule deer there look different than they do here. And I couldn't, and what it is these are prairie bucks. And so they're out in that super open sage hill country of eastern Wyoming, right? And so their eyeballs are bigger because they have to see further being on the prairie, looking at potential threats versus these big old timber bucks here, these mule deer where I live in northwest Montana. Their eyes are smaller here because they don't have to see as far. And Dr. Valerius Geist explained that to me. And so I'm always kind of looking for little things that create nuance within the animal itself of different areas that you're hunting in. And that I love that one. So that thick old growth, tight timber like that is creating these narrower bull moose versus like those big, those moose that we were talking about Grinda where he's hunting. That's a lot more open, tundra type country, and so interesting little thing, interesting little tidbit. How long were you there? How long was that hunt?
I killed
total?
on day 11. So, and then we didn't get flown out till like day 13, I think.
Oh wow, so you had a couple days.
Yeah, they couldn't get in to get us until day 13 to fly us out. So, yeah, it was.
What an adventure, man.
Yeah, I was hoping if I'd have killed that first bull that got away, that big one, if I could have got that thing, we'd have got back in time to probably hunt elk a little bit more in Idaho. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I hope I can get one of these early and then go home and maybe, slide in and maybe
Yep.
get an elk here, before September's over, but it just didn't work out.
So was your plan to just kind of come back and hunt that Idaho B tag, the rifle season?
Yeah. So I bought a second tag, an leftover non-resident tag, Idaho B tag. So
Nice.
Which last year was pretty good. Killed on the second day. It had bulls bugling on the first day of that tag last year. This year, it snowed on the 10th and it doesn't open until the 15th there. And all the elk that were just living there, they left. They migrated out. So
from the snow,
yeah. And where they migrate to, so the tops are pretty open and there's a lot of burns and stuff, but that mid country is all heavy timbered. So trying to find them things in that timbered country, and there's not a lot of road access. So man, it was like a needle in a haystack. It was tough. And one day we ended up finding we completely gave up on trying to locate the ones that migrated. So we're like just trying a new area and got into some where they'd logged and did some controlled burns not too long ago in the last couple of years. And elk were in there pretty thick, in there pretty well, but just trying to catch them in the daytime. The first day we were in there, we got on them. Seen a bull, just seen him through some trees. I'm like, oh, he's up on the ridge there. He's going to step out. I was going to just blast him. And he didn't, he walked straight away. So I never did get to see his body. I just could see antlers in the limbs on the tree as he left, but there were cows around. So I hustled up the hill, up the ridge there. And I got like 40 yards from the cows a couple different times and bugled a couple times. He bugled once or twice there. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to bugle a couple times. He'll show himself. No, the next time I heard him bugle, he was completely away from the cows. So I don't think he was hanging with the cows. I think he was checking cows. I think he was just making his way through and just checking to see if there's any hot cows there. And he was just keep on going from the behavior. Now, I didn't get aggressive with my bugles too much, and his weren't aggressive either. I think he was just kind of cruising. So we never did catch up to him.
Interestingly, they're still fairly responsive, man. I bugled at a bull 3 days ago. And what is today? Today is the 7th of November.
Yeah.
And he it's not like he full on bugled, but he squeaked back at me. And same thing with the first week. I'm in obviously Montana. So rifle week 1 open on October 25th. And those bulls that we killed that morning for the husband and wife, the one was kind of bugling. He was bugling like what it was. It's not like it's hard to explain because it's not like a rut bugle, right. They're different, but he was kind of, and they're all still with the cows. They were all still with cows. There was a big old 6-point in there too. And he slipped into the timber, but he was bugling too. And so they were all just kind of talking. And the other day when the one I just said like 3 days ago, we had bumped a little group of elk and there was like a raghorn in there. And I got the old Renegade out and bugled at him and he bugled back and he just kind of, it was just a squeak. It was like, yeah, cow calls are pretty receptive. Some cows came meandering through. I was sitting there cow calling with one of my hunters, and this was, I don't know, 5 days ago, I think. And he already killed a big old 6-point. So we were just kind of messing around looking for whitetail at that point. But so the point is, and it's still like a tool to be used because there's viability to it more so than I would have maybe given it credit, 3-4 years ago. And I don't know, maybe it just changes by the year, but hey, we're getting down to your hard stop. And I want to touch real quick on some Phelps whitetail calls because again, it's November 7th.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of guiding on a private ranch recently where the whitetail are absolutely like nothing I've ever seen before.
Oh man.
But that sounded like Trump, huh? Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It was like that, man. I mean, these whitetail are just freaking everywhere, and they're starting to chase. They're starting to run around, head down, chasing does around and spot checking, and so we're coming into when it is time to start busting out these deer calls. And is there, like, from a Phelps standpoint, anything the listeners should know, anything new this year? Because I still have my go-to calls, and I'd be hard pressed to switch from those because they work so well. And I've got that beta grunt.
Yeah.
What is the doe? I can never remember the doe.
DOA.
Bleat.
The DOA doe bleat.
Okay, yeah, the doe bleat. That so that's DOA. That's the name of it.
And I think we discontinued those. I think we sold out because those new acorn grunters, the acorn, the Clay Newcomb ones. So the acorn and the acorn pros. So the acorn pros made out of acrylic, but those things are my favorite. Like, I just love the sound. Like, I think the sound on the ones with the flexible hose, like the Beta Pro, I think those sound really, really good, like very accurate, but they're not as loud. So if you like to call quietly and more subdued, I think those are the way to go. But what I like about the Acorn and the Acorn Pro, especially the Pro, that's my favorite one. It's made out of acrylic. That thing you can be quiet if you want. You can really honk on it too if you want, really loud. But then, so you can blow on it to do grunt calls, and then you can inhale to do doe bleats. So you don't have two calls hanging around your neck. You just have one.
I kind of like that. I actually really like that. I'm looking here. Hang on. The Acorn, the Pro Grunt, and the black one.
Yeah. I really, and I like the sound of it. And I like what I really like about it is I like how it'll slide into my chest pocket. I have it around my neck, but then I slide into my chest pocket, so it's not banging around. That way, it don't bang around in my rifle. It don't bang around in my bow or my binoculars. Now the ones that have the rubber tube, the bellow, they sound really good. But if you try to put them in your chest pocket, or any kind of pocket for that matter, when you slide them out, slide them in, that rubber creates a little bit of resistance. It doesn't slide in and slide out real easy like the smooth all acrylic call does. So if I'm trying to see, if I got my eyes on a deer and I'm like, I don't want to break eye contact with the deer, and I want to just like reach in my pocket, keep my eyes on the deer and call, the Acorn one does a great job. Or even like that, the Omega Pro. It doesn't have the inhale action for a doe call, but it has a really great buck grunt too. It's more of our value type brand, or a value call. It's really, is that inexpensive.
The Omega hybrid grunt call?
Yeah, it's like $25 or something. $20. What is it? $25.
$24.99. I've got the beta. So I haven't tried that Omega one, but that beta is money. But now you've got me thinking I might have to get this Acorn one.
Yeah, but the Acorn, like if you want to be able to grunt and bleat, that's the way to go. So we make it in Osage orange in the wood, or we make it in that acrylic. I like the acrylic because it's weatherproof. You can leave it in your truck, and the sun's not gonna make it dry out. You can get it wet. It's just indestructible. That's why I like it. And I think the sound is more anatomically correct. Maybe on the wooden one, it's a little richer sound. It's a little more tactile, but on the acrylic, but I like it. I like that tactile. I like it to be loud, just because, and some whitetail guys are going to call bullshit on this anyway, but they're like, oh, you don't call loud with grunt calls, call quietly. But man, the proof's in the pudding. A couple years ago in Kansas, I had a buck at like 200 yards walking this fence line. And if I'd have had to use that Beta Pro with the hose on it, I wouldn't have been able to get loud enough. But with that acrylic call, I just started ripping these big grunts, just like, just loud as I could. And then I did like 3 of those. And then I did some long, really loud bleats as well. I just flipped it around and blew on it. So if you inhale, the doe bleats are a little quieter, but if you flip it around and blow and exhale with them, they'll be louder. So then it's like, and I did some really loud doe bleeds. That buck just turned like he was a ship. He didn't even look my way at all. He just like turned and just started coming right to me.
Wow. Yeah.
At over 200 yards. And I don't think he would have been as receptive had I been quieter. I don't think he would.
No, I agree, man. I agree that what my go-to is I'll take that beta and I'll do some really loud grunts. And then I'll wait a few minutes. I'll wait like 10 minutes and then I'll do them real quiet. And man, it is like 60% of the time it works every time kind of thing, because obviously sometimes there's just not a buck around, but yeah, that worked pretty well for me with a couple of hunters last year. And but that deer bleat call was really good too, especially as I got closer to like Thanksgiving. That deer bleat was like pretty money, well, whoops, I'm trying to read your description on that acorn, because I think I'm going to grab one of those. Which, by the way, guys, if you're listening, phelpsgamecalls.com, just jump on the deer call section, and as always, use promo code Huntsman10 for 10% off. Right?
Yep, you bet. And work on all the calls, unless they're already on sale or something. But
yeah. And this one's not. That acorn one is $89.99. It's kind of an expensive one, but it's 2-in-1. So if you compare that against getting like the beta and that old deer bleat, and the other thing that I recommend everybody having in their toolbox for whitetail season from Phelps for deer season is that Smash and Clash rattle bag. That worked really well for me. In fact, one time last year, I had a hunter in my truck. We drove kind of around. We're on this dirt road, right? And this hunter was he had this back surgery that made it so he couldn't walk. The doctor screwed it up, the surgery up, so he couldn't walk very well. So he had that handicap tag, so he could ride around in my truck and whatever. This really nice buck had kind of walked into this timber, and I jumped out and I grabbed his tripod, and he was able to get out and walk around. And I'm like, okay, just stand right here. I mean, right in front of my truck too. And I start doing this smash and bag or clash rattle bag thing. And I'm doing that, and then I'm going with that beta, and then smashing again. And that buck, no kidding, within 3 minutes turned around and came back and gave him a shot, and he killed it. And so these calls work; they work great. So we're at your hard stop, man. We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, yeah, let's wrap it up. Guys, just one again, Phelps Game Calls, that's always in the show notes. You can use the promo code, and in fact, I think if you sign up for their mailing list, it's an even better discount. So, whatever works best for you guys. But Dirk, I really appreciate you coming on and joining me again, and you're always willing to come and just shoot the bull with me, and I really appreciate that. And congratulations on a wonderful hunt up in the Yukon. I'm super jealous.
Yeah, anytime. Happy to be on here. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and probably never be able to do it again. But, yeah.
We'll never say never.
I feel fortunate, so.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks again. Let's just keep in touch, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, sounds great.
You made it! That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Western Huntsman, and write us a good review at Apple Podcasts. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on the mountain.